Cassandra Morgan sat motionless in her matte black Jeep Grand Cherokee, her index finger tapping lightly on the screen of the military-grade GPS mounted on her dashboard. She wasn't lost, she was recalculating. The back roads of Eastwood had changed over the years, with constant construction rerouting familiar paths. Even the most decorated generals could lose their bearings when the land kept shifting beneath their feet. The hum of idle traffic on Highway 94 faded into the background as a flash of blue and red exploded in her rearview mirror. Her eyes lifted to the flashing lights behind her, and she sighed, not out of fear, not out of irritation, but a deep, weary sigh that only people of color truly understood. It was the kind of sigh that comes when history taps you on the shoulder and whispers, "Not again." She lowered the window, hands visible on the wheel. "Hands where I can see them." The voice barked, sharp and unnecessarily loud, designed to provoke. Officer Mark Denon had both hands on his belt as he approached, one hand hovering near his gun. His tone was already laced with the assumption that she was a threat. Cassandra's hands were already resting on the steering wheel at 10 and 2, her nails neatly filed and tapping gently in rhythm, a little trick she used to slow her heart rate. She looked straight ahead, shoulders square, her face composed with the kind of grace taught in war rooms, not beauty salons. "Ma'am, I need to see your license and registration," he snapped. Without answering, she reached slowly toward the glove compartment, deliberately keeping her movements measured. Her eyes stayed focused on her hands, never looking up. It was a learned reflex, something every black parent had taught their child. Never make any sudden moves, especially not with a cop. It didn't matter that she had 3 stars stitched on her shoulder or that she'd sat across from foreign presidents as a representative of the U.S. military. To Officer Denton, Cassandra Morgan was just another ma'am in a dark car on the wrong side of the highway. Her registration was up to date. She offered it, voice flat and respectful. "I was pulled over because I was parked off the road, adjusting my GPS. There's nothing illegal about that." But Denton didn't even glance at the papers. Instead, he stepped back, hand still near his gun, thumb tapping the latch of his belt. "Step out of the vehicle," he ordered. Cassandra turned her head slowly, not with defiance, but with the kind of controlled, unhurried movements that spoke of someone who had been in high-pressure situations before. "I'm not under arrest," she said, keeping her voice steady. A man in a gray sedan pulled over across the street and started filming with his phone. Someone else shouted, "Why is she being pulled over?" She didn't do anything. Denon ignored them, focusing entirely on Cassandra. She glanced toward the phone screen across the highway, not surprised. Truth didn't matter until it went viral, after all. She unbuckled her seatbelt, opened the door, and stepped out, every movement fluid, controlled, drilled into her by years of military training. "You got any weapons on you?" Denton asked, his voice dripping with suspicion. Cassandra turned slightly, showing both sides of her body in the kind of gesture that could be misread as surrender or submission. "No, officer, I'm active duty. My weapons are secured on base." Denton sneered. "Oh, so now you're military?" "I didn't say military," Cassandra replied evenly. "I said active duty." He snorted. "Yeah, sure. Were you a mechanic?" Cassandra said nothing. The moment stretched between them, filled with tension. Denton walked around her vehicle, inspecting it like he was searching for any excuse to escalate the situation. He tapped his flashlight against the back window, then returned to her. "Got anything in the vehicle I should know about?" "No, officer. You've got tinted windows. That's illegal. It's legal for military vehicles registered on base. I can show you the documentation." "I didn't ask for a lecture," he growled. "Mom." The word again. Not General, not Morgan, not even Cassandra, just ma'am, wrapped in suspicion and contempt. She shifted her weight. "Officer, I'd like to call someone now," she said, her voice still even. "I believe we've passed the point of this being a routine stop." "Oh, you'll call someone, all right," Denton muttered. "You're not going anywhere." And just like that, he was cuffing her, the cold metal biting into her wrists as he pushed her toward the hood of her own Jeep. The scene was caught on camera, and the public began to stir. One by one, cars pulled over, people shouting her name, not her rank, but her name. Cassandra's mind didn't go blank, not even for a second. It never did. Even restrained, even humiliated, even pinned by a man who hadn't bothered to read her ID, her mind stayed sharp. She looked up at the sky above, clear, cloudless, the sun glaring. Denton didn't know, couldn't know, but when she made that call, when she said the name and gave the code, this entire interstate would become a chessboard and every piece would move at her command. Still, she didn't speak. Let him have his moment. Let him bask in his illusion of power. The silence that followed hung thick in the air, like a storm about to break. But the storm wasn't coming from the sky. It was coming from Washington, D.C. "I'm not going to resist," Cassandra whispered to herself. She understood something Officer Denton never would, that restraint was its own form of power. Denton continued to search her, patting her down like she was some street-level suspect. His breath smelled stale, like burnt coffee and insecurity. "You military types think you're above the law," he muttered. "Bet you're one of those affirmative action hires, huh?" Cassandra said nothing. She didn't need to respond. Her silence was as powerful as any retort. Across the street, Captain Nathaniel Rivera stood, phone in hand, filming the entire encounter. He didn't know who the woman was, not yet, but he recognized the way she moved, the way she held herself. He was military too, and in his gut, he knew this wasn't just some random civilian being pulled over. "Stop," Rivera called out, stepping into the road. His badge gleamed in the sunlight, his voice clear and firm. "Captain Rivera, U.S. Army. I'm requesting you stop this detainment immediately." Denton froze. He squinted, confused. "Who the hell are you?" "I just told you. Captain Rivera." "And that woman is General Cassandra Morgan," Rivera said, his voice unwavering. "She outranks every single soul in this state, including your sheriff." Denton looked down at Cassandra, then back at Rivera. His jaw tightened. "Doesn't matter." Rivera stepped closer. "It matters to you, and it matters to everyone watching. You'll stop now, or I will take this higher." At that moment, a helicopter appeared overhead, its blades cutting through the air with precise, rhythmic beats that rattled the chest before the ears could even register the sound. It was military. It wasn't news. It wasn't life flight. It was the kind of helicopter you only saw in high-stakes situations. Denton's hand slipped off the cruiser door as he turned to look. "What the hell is that?" Cassandra didn't answer. She didn't have to. Her phone buzzed, once, then twice, then went silent. Colonel Teresa Maddox was already en route. A black SUV appeared behind the line of cars, sleek and fast, its windows darkened and a government plate on the bumper. The passenger door opened before the vehicle came to a full stop. A woman stepped out, sharp in a navy suit, silver hair pulled back into a tight bun, her eyes sharp as steel. "Which one of you is responsible for this nonsense?" Maddox asked, her voice calm, but carrying the full weight of authority. Denton stammered. She was uncooperative, possibly impersonating military personnel. Maddox raised a hand, cutting him off. "Silence." She walked past him, straight to Cassandra. Without a word, she pulled a small key from her pocket and unlocked the cuffs in a swift, practice motion. It took only 3 seconds. "Are you all right, General?" Maddox asked, her voice soft but steady. "I'm fine," Cassandra replied. "Just waiting for someone with common sense to arrive." Turning to Denton, Maddox's voice was ice cold. "You detained a 3-star general without verifying her identity. You ignored a direct statement of rank and violated federal statutes regarding active military personnel. Do you know what that means?" Denton opened his mouth, but Maddox cut him off. "Stop talking. Every word you say is digging the hole deeper." She turned to Cassandra. "You're free to go." Cassandra straightened up, brushing the dust off her sleeves, and as she stepped toward her Jeep, she didn't look back. She didn't need to. They knew her name now.